Welcome back. All right, so starting with something different today, so there won't be a Jersey related thing today on this channel, unless something crazy happens, which I don't think it's going to happen. But hey, day's still young. So YouTube has decided to answer some criticisms. There's been criticisms about like the kidfluencer sphere I've talked about, and how we do need to have that conversation about kids being protected. In some cases, their own parents aren't the ones protecting them, and so there needs to be protections in place. So, Australia's government announced that it was going to ban children under 16 from using YouTube. The UK was also implementing sweeping age checks on content on social networks. So, governments have started to catch up on this idea that kids under the age of 16, they're going to be on YouTube amongst other services and probably seeing or hearing things that they probably shouldn't see or hear at that stage in their lives. And so YouTube is going to start using an AI which will decide based on which videos you're watching and based on what you're doing on YouTube, and maybe based on when your account started, it will decide whether or not to age gate your account. And if your account gets age gated, they will basically require your government ID in order to prove you are who you say you are, which can be a pain. Just speaking personally, I use Cameo, and well, I'm on Cameo, and Cameo changed over their payout to go over to Stripe. Well, I've had problems with Stripe before, so I had to verify my ID. It took like 5 or 6 tries to get it to actually accept my ID and accept that this face is still the face associated with that ID. Not that it gave me a reason. It just was like, nope, not good enough. Nope, not good enough. Nope. And it's like, seriously, what more can I do? Government issued identification and my face. I don't know what to tell you other than it's me. But I did get that straightened out. AI is a conversation piece. There was a video with Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about how AI he believes is overrated, and I agree. AI art is usually stealing from other forms of art. They don't necessarily create their own. AI stuff is everywhere now. The amount of AI on Facebook is ridiculous. Even now, doing searches, it's ridiculous. Like animals. I think there's enough cute animals on planet Earth to go ahead and populate our social media feeds for years, decades, centuries to come. However, there are so many AI images now of animals and AI videos of animals that I see getting shared that you look at and go, that's totally AI. That's not real. And your eye tells you it's not real. Like, for me personally, it can be done where there's an AI video that I look at and I go, I'm not sure. There's one ad that I get, like the mobile games that I play on my phone. There's one ad that I get where I can't tell if the woman that's hawking this other game in the advertisement, if she's AI or not. I think she is, and it's the words that are used. And it is just how the world seems to be heading, and I'm not sure why, because I haven't seen AI do anything for us common people. I understand for rich people it means they don't have to pay us common people because they can get an AI to answer all the questions. And it is seen as a way, Hollywood executives are looking at it as a way to maybe not pay actors anymore, right? The idea that they can scan your likeness and then just use it in other movies, and you don't even have to act in them anymore. This is something that is clearly it's a work in progress, and it's something that it could take out the whole ecosphere that we've seen with entertainment and with social media and all that. I don't worry overly about it because I understand that it's now part of what's out there. I like to think that my content's unique. I've got a built-in audience. I think it would be harder if I was starting now. I think it would be harder for people who are starting out with all this other AI slop they have to get past. But the idea that now an AI is going to decide whether or not somebody's above the age of 18 based on their browsing habits is interesting, because some people might watch videos that they enjoy, and maybe there are nights where I'm kind of depressed over whatever. You can be depressed over whatever, and you're like, you know what? I haven't watched the Muppet Show in a while. And I'm talking like the one from the 1970s. And I'm talking the original Muppet Show, 70s, early 80s, which was, to me, the best it ever got. So if I'm watching those videos, at some point does the AI screw up and go, oh, I think he's under 18. Because what happens is when you're under 18, well, in this case, under 16 is what other governments are talking about. But in this case, AI for YouTube is talking about under 18. You don't get personalized ads anymore. Now, this may not be a big deal to you, whether or not your ads are personalized. But for YouTubers, that is a big difference. When you're not getting those personalized ads for people watching your videos, you're getting a lot less money. It's one of the reasons why people kind of freak out as creators on this platform when they're viewed as a kids channel. And it's one of the reasons why people fight against being labeled a kids channel, because your advertising revenue goes because those kids don't get personalized ads. You're not getting those personalized ad impressions, and your revenue drops to very, very little. From what I've heard, it's in the same realm as, say, TikTok. TikTok does not pay well. TikTok pays very, very poorly, and I'm Canadian. I can't get paid by TikTok anyways. Like, I was trying to build up a TikTok following at one point, and I realized the best I can hope for is that I put together some live streams, people watch them, and then I can get funding from people watching my videos. So they do the tip process, same as you do on YouTube. And I'm nah, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't have a business. I don't have something I'm selling. And it just didn't make any sense. So I have shorts that I've done here and there on YouTube, which don't make money either. Shorts, I'm not sure how people make their money on shorts, because I've dabbled in it and it just, there's nothing. Thousands of views, and then you'll look a couple days later and you get maybe 8 cents. So this AI that could definitely hurt some YouTubers, and it will definitely negatively impact people who are falsely flagged as being under the age of 18. One thing that I was reading in an article yesterday was, so if you're a parent and your kids use your YouTube account, which is common, and they're watching, a bunch of kids stuff, you could get age gated and have to give your government ID and go through all these hoops in order to get away from being age gated. So you're allowed to watch everything on YouTube. It is going to be interesting to see what effect this has. I'm not overly concerned about it. I think that it won't have a huge impact, because most of my audience, both on this channel and the other channel, are 25 years old or older. And so I don't feel like a lot of people that watch my content are going to get age gated. Not only that, but my content is geared towards pro sports, hockey. On this channel, it's movies, music, and stuff. It's not really stuff little kids are going to be looking for. It's not stuff that people 13, 14, 15 are going to be looking for anyways. So it will probably have some sort of a negative impact. I don't think it will be a large negative impact. And it does feel like this is YouTube's way of trying to answer the criticism and to try to head off some of what other governments are doing. It has to be, on some level, kind of a nightmare running a company like this. You go through this too with X, with Instagram, Facebook, well, Meta, where you do have to make sure that, other countries are still carrying you and not blocking you from being viewed within their country, and making sure that you're within the laws of every... It has to be an absolute hassle. It does. So, like, there's been times where I'll do a video. I know I used to do videos where I'd, like, lip sync. I do not do that anymore. But I used to do videos where I would lip sync. And it was funny, because I would see, this song has been copyright, and your video will not be viewable in Japan, or your video will not be viewable in Germany. Or I'm thinking, that's weird. That's weird that an entire country can't view this video unless they have a VPN, because I lip sync to this song, which somebody's upset with, and so it's weird to me. So I do have some concerns about AI being a bit of a mess, and I don't know, like, I guess there's always that fear of, well, it's going to get sentience and it's going to come after us. I don't really have that fear. It can't figure out how many fingers are on the human hand. It can't figure out how we move. Knees go backwards. I have seen commercials done with AI which look like a mess. Coke took some flack this past Christmas because their Christmas commercial was AI. And once I heard that, then I understood why that commercial put me off. The commercial made no sense. There were things that happened that were Christmas-ish, but it genuinely made no sense when you watch the commercial from start to finish. But it saved them from hiring people to do the art, and it was just easy and cheap, and then they could just throw the ad out there for Christmas. And I do think other companies are going to be doing something similar in upcoming years, especially as AI gets cheaper to create and to work with. And as the AI gets better. So maybe once it figures out we have 5 fingers, not 6, not 4, not 3, 5. Once it figures out how many feet we have and how many arms we have, maybe I'll be a little more concerned. But there's definitely been a lot of discussion about AI being used. For instance, Late Night with the Devil that I watched and I talked about in a video, what, a week, 2 weeks ago now? Time just, I don't know what time is anymore. It doesn't matter. But there are apparently AI title cards used in that movie, and it got some flack for that. That's the kind of thing that I think we're going to see more of. I'm not sure why. Like, I don't think it takes that long to make a graphic. I don't think it takes that long to make a nice graphic. So I'm not sure why, other than I guess it's a little faster with AI and you don't have to pay an artist for it. I'd rather pay the artist. Like, if I ever used a title card for the hockey channel, I'd rather that whoever does that they get paid for it. Or like AI music. AI music is crap. AI music, you can tell when it's AI because the lyrics don't make any sense. There are reality shows we watch where we can tell that the music is AI generated. It's all generic, and then you listen to the words and you're like, that seems odd, or it's just unnecessarily violent in places where you're like, what, why was that so violent? Or one lyric doesn't match up with the next. WWE is under some fire because Def Rebel, I think it's Def Rebel that's been doing the music for a while now. They're using AI for their music, which explains why WWE entrance themes that are done by Def Rebel are generally crap. They've been terrible. I used to be a big wrestling nerd for theme songs, and that's kind of died off over the last few years, and I can see that that's part of it. That any new wrestler coming in, unless they have a song that was created by somebody else, like Rhea Ripley has Motionless in White, Cody Rhodes has used his song for ages, and Seth Rollins has a really good song too. But the new ones, they're just sort of, they're there. And they sound rushed. They don't sound different. They don't, and almost every song has the wrestler's name in it. Why? Like, you're at the wrestling event, you know who everybody is. You paid like $1,100 to be there because ticket prices are ridiculous for WWE right now. Hey, since you're charging a ridiculous amount of money per ticket, why don't you get an artist to write a song or pay licensing fees and use a popular song or even a not popular song? I've thought about using theme music for either channel. The one song that I always thought would be fun to use for an opening for my videos, and I used to do this on my podcast, is Breathe by Ministry. And the live version, so from the Necronomicon live album, where it's 2 minutes at the start of the song that are just the drums. And it's just this really, really nice, it's got this good percussion to it, and I always thought, that'd be a good way to get into one of my videos. Sort of like every sports broadcast I ever listened to would have that music when they came back from commercial. They'd have that music at the start, and I always thought it would be great to have the usage, the allowance to use Breathe by Ministry. That's the one song. I would never use AI. I would never do it. There's just no chance. But I'm also a person that, as you can see, prefers physical media, because all of these movies might be available on streaming until they decide not to put them on streaming. Of course, the PS4 games are not available on streaming. But, again, I prefer to have the discs because you don't know what's going to happen later. You just don't. So, digital copies can go away. Digital games can go away. As much as pirate software might be happy about games going away, most of us are not. I do support that, by the way, but I'm not in Europe, so I couldn't sign off on that. But I don't understand why anybody would say, "Oh, they can't they should be able to kill games." What are you doing? Anyways, that's a whole other discussion point for a whole other time. So I'm generally a throwback, a fossil, however you want to put it, but I prefer physical media. I have a ton of CDs. I have a CD player because I prefer the physical. I still have my Spotify. I use Spotify and everything, but I like having that physical media because there are times where I go to listen to a song on Spotify and it's gone. The artist is no longer on Spotify, or maybe I'm listening on Amazon Music and like, oh, that song's not available there, it's available there. But if I have the CD, and then the other part too, and I've talked about this before, I think the experience of listening to an entire CD all the way through is lost. And sometimes I think with YouTube, it's easy to lose the experience of watching an entire broadcast of something because there's a bunch of clips that are available on YouTube. So you just go, well, I'll just go watch the clips and the highlights. It is definitely something that I understand why that happens, but for me personally, I'd rather watch the whole thing. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you expect to be age gated by YouTube when this goes through? I don't know if I will or not. I'm in my 50s. I don't know. Maybe I will, because every now and then I put videos on for the cats. They have these videos for cats to watch, right? Where you got birds and squirrels and chipmunks. Maybe they'll think my account's run by a cat and they'll just shut it down. I have no idea what the AI is going to think of my account. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you're a parent, or does this make you less likely to let your kid use your YouTube account, or more likely to let them use your YouTube, or just doesn't have an effect either way? Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I also want to mention too, Jess McCallan is the actress in there from Legends of Tomorrow, and she's also in this picture here, and those are both autographed as well, because Legends of Tomorrow was my favorite show for a while there, and then it kind of went off the rails a little bit. But anyways, there you go. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It's greatly appreciated. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. That being said, I will talk to you again soon.